Hello, you might be wondering, who is this goofy girl trying to talk to me about some intellectualism stuff? Well, hi, I'm Kiki, I'm a silly seagull, and let me tell you about something that's been wandering in my mind lately. If you're active on social media, you have probably noticed that there is a growing trend these days, anti-intellectualism, or, in other words, rejecting any deep thinking as well as rejecting topics that attempt to be profound and stir something in your conscience. The phrase "it's not that deep, bro," which is used a lot, has made its way into our homes via our cell phones and computers, slowly degrading the neurons of every young person. From social issues to music to the field that concerns us here, video games. Short videos like TikToks are increasingly diminishing people's ability to concentrate. I, myself, am not immune to this, but at least I try to combat it in certain ways. People need constant stimulation to maintain concentration, not only on social media, but now this rule also applies to video games. Deep stories are dismissed with contempt by the masses whose brains have been eaten away by the immediacy of modern society. Anything that tries to provoke deeper thought than usual is rejected because it is for geeks, and therefore a laughingstock. You may think I am exaggerating, that it's not complicated or important. And while that may be true, that thought is itself a victim of modern culture. The implications of our actions and their consequences are ignored because digging beneath the surface would mean stirring up uncomfortable things, looking directly at the hidden monster we don't want to admit is there, or even beginning to discover things we didn't know we could feel. Social media rewards immediacy, visuals, and easy consumption, edited, fast, and direct content that enters our cortex already digested. We need to understand everything now. Human beings fear what they don't know, and we are ashamed to admit that we don't know something, especially when FOMO, or fear of missing out, is so strong these days. If we transfer all of this to the world of gaming, we can take as an example a man who provokes both admiration and rejection, Hideo Kojima. Kojima is neither the greatest genius of our century, nor he is the worst writer out there. He may be a little pretentious, but ignoring the message of his stories is often a mistake. With the release of Death Stranding, I have been observing the different reactions of people on the internet, and I often encounter ridicule, not only towards the questionable gameplay, which I admit can be a bit rough, but also towards the story. Yes, I am aware that the story is nothing special or new, but it emphasizes something important: loneliness. In Death Stranding, the world has been fractured by a phenomenon that connects the world of the living with that of the dead. This causes fear in people. Each person focuses on surviving as best as they can in a hostile world where there is no established government. Nihilism, individualism, and mistrust largely affect the real world. As we gradually separate ourselves, we look after our selfish impulses more than the common good. In the game, there are porters, people who deliver packages, who are obsessed with delivering packages. They care more about their personal role than reconnecting people. Doesn't that remind you of something? I think an important factor that ties our discourse together is the lack of empathy. Due to growing individualism, there is a significant lack of empathy, where each person's greed is more important than the well-being of others. I'm not saying that it's now necessary to sacrifice everything for the good of others, but it is true that people have been losing that human quality, that concern for being a good person and not harming others, if that is what it takes for one to perceive oneself as superior. It is similar to the objectivism presented in Bioshock and the criticism of excessive selfishness, which it describes as selfishness elevated to a system that destroys everything because why help someone if it does not benefit you? And if you're the one who needs help, that would generate hatred towards others. An endless loop of selfishness and loneliness that undermines the foundation of society as we know it. In the world of Bioshock, altruism is defined as a problem. And yet, in real life, thousands of young people idolize Andrew Ryan and look up to him with admiration for his famous quote:
"A man chooses, a slave obeys."
That quote itself isn't bad, but the interpretation that many young people give it today is wrong. Living for yourself without thinking about anyone else. But you too can choose to be good and compassionate. Compassionate towards others. You can choose to see beyond the surface. Find the nuances of the stories and emotions that the developers imbue in video games. The passion, the desire. You can choose to reject the mentality of immediacy. Stop for a second to reflect. Use your brain instead of relying on a machine or people on social media who claim to have the absolute truth about everything. Everything has nuances. Everything has stories and connections so complex and profound themes. So yes, it is that deep, bro. It always has been. It's true that not all video games are highly complex, but there are definitely always things you can delve deeper into. If we fall into superficiality and immediacy, we can expect a future full of mediocre video games, created especially to keep the masses quiet, consuming the same thing over and over again. If this continues, the future of video games will fall, especially into the hands of indies, such as the developers of Expedition 33, Stardew Valley, or Undertale/Deltarune, and 1,000 other examples. Because human beings are curious and creative, and there is nothing in this world that can prevent that. Thank you for stopping by. If you reached this point, thank you so much for seeing everything. I am Kiki the Silly Seagull, and I'll see you very soon.